My brother paid $15,000 for a deepfake to destroy me and steal my girlfriend. I lost my job, family, and friends in 48 hours. But 5 years later, he accidentally confessed on video, and what happened to him was devastating. I'm 28 years old. I own a gym in Portland, and I basically need to tell this story because 5 years ago, my older brother destroyed my life with a fake video. And what happened after is so messed up that sometimes I still can't believe it. I mean, when I say he destroyed my life, I'm not exaggerating. I literally lost everything. My girlfriend, my job, my family, my friends, my apartment. Everything went down in a matter of days, and for 5 complete years, no one believed me when I tried to explain that the video was fake. I guess I should start from the beginning. Like, my brother Vincent was always the golden child, you know? Since we were kids, my parents treated him like he walked on water or something, and I was like the secondary son, the one who never did anything good enough. Vincent got good grades, and my parents would buy him whatever he wanted. I got the same grades, and it was like, well, son, that's what's expected of you. When Vincent got his first marketing job, my parents threw this huge dinner and invited all the relatives. When I got my job in the same industry like 2 years later, they barely congratulated me. I grew up with that my whole life, with the feeling that I was always going to be in his shadow no matter what I did. But honestly, I never thought he would end up hating me enough to do what he did. The thing is that in 2018, when I was 23, I met Natalie at a company picnic where I worked. She was from accounting. I was in marketing, and we connected immediately. You know, that instant chemistry that sometimes happens and sometimes doesn't. We started dating like a week after meeting, and by 6 months we were already living together in a small but nice apartment near downtown. Natalie was amazing. Seriously. She was smart, funny, she supported me in everything, and I was really in love, like thinking about rings and marriage and all that stuff. My parents met her like 3 months into us dating, and obviously they didn't think she was good enough for me, or well, for the family. But Vincent did like her, liked her too much, as it turned out later. But at that moment, I thought it was great that my brother was finally showing interest in my life. Vincent had been kind of Mia for a while. He was living in another city working at some big marketing company, making good money according to my parents who wouldn't stop talking about how successful he was. And when he came back to town in 2019, he started spending more time with us. At first it seemed cool, you know? Like we were finally going to have a real brother relationship. We'd go out to dinner, the three of us. He'd come to the apartment to watch movies. He'd invite me to his work events. And I thought, well, maybe things are changing. Maybe, now that we're adults, we can be close. But looking back, I should have noticed it. The way he looked at Natalie when he thought I wasn't watching. How he always found excuses to touch her shoulder or arm when he talked to her. How he insisted we go to places where he'd shine and I'd look bad in comparison. Natalie told me a couple times that Vincent gave her weird vibes, but I downplayed it because, he was my brother. What was I going to think badly of him? In October 2019, I had to go to a work conference in Seattle. It was like 4 days, 3 nights. Something about new digital marketing strategies or I don't know what. Honestly, I don't remember much about the conference because what happened after basically erased everything else from my memory. Natalie stayed home because she had an important project at work and couldn't take days off. I left Wednesday morning. The conference was pretty boring, if I'm honest. Just PowerPoint presentations and forced networking. But I did my part, attended all the sessions, had dinner with some colleagues, and got back to the hotel each night like at 10 or 11. Friday night after the last session, some coworkers wanted to go to a bar, but I was tired and I wanted to get home the next day, so I stayed in my room watching Netflix and talking on the phone with Natalie before sleeping. I got back home Saturday around noon, arrived at the apartment with my suitcase expecting Natalie to be there so I could tell her about the conference and maybe go out to eat or something. But when I opened the door, I found her sitting on the couch with her laptop and the expression on her face. God, I'm never going to forget that expression. It was like she was seeing me for the first time, and what she saw disgusted her. She asked me, "I need you to explain this to me," and turned the laptop to show me the screen. And there I was. It was my face, my body, my voice, in a video where I was at a bar making out with a girl I'd never seen in my life, and then the video showed how me and this girl left the bar together, and there were timestamps saying it was from Thursday night when I was supposedly in Seattle. I stood there with my suitcase still in my fucking hand, looking at the video in complete shock, because literally none of that had happened. I had been in my hotel room that Thursday night, watching Stranger Things and eating pizza from room service. I tried to explain to her. I said, "Natalie, this is fake. I didn't do that. I was at my hotel all night. I can show you my card charges. I can show you the Netflix history. I can call the hotel and ask if the cameras saw me leave." But she just cried and yelled at me to stop lying to her, that the video was crystal clear, that it was obviously me. And how could I be so cruel to cheat on her? And on top of that, deny the truth to her face. I begged her to believe me. Told her there was technology to make fake videos, that someone was doing this to me. But she didn't want to listen. She was convinced I had been unfaithful, and the video was the proof. And what I didn't know at that moment was that Vincent had paid $15,000, like $15,000, to some guy with advanced technical skills to create a professional deepfake of me. Cited deepfake. You know what that is? It's when they use artificial intelligence to put one person's face on another person's body in a video. And if it's done well, it looks completely real. Impossible to detect with the naked eye. And the one Vincent made was perfect. It had my face from all angles, my way of moving, my voice, everything. Because I guess Vincent had enough videos and photos of me from years of being brothers to train the algorithm, or however that shit works. And he didn't just make the video. He also created fake social media profiles of the supposed girl I had kissed, fabricated a whole backstory, and made sure the video reached Natalie when I was away, and couldn't defend myself immediately. Natalie kicked me out of the apartment that same day. She told me I had until Sunday night to get all my stuff out or she was going to throw it away, and that she never wanted to see me again. I tried to stay, tried to talk to her, but she called her brother and a friend, and they basically escorted me out of the building. I went to a cheap hotel with what I had in my suitcase, plus my laptop and charger, and spent the whole weekend trying to figure out what the hell had happened, how someone had made that video, who hated me enough to destroy me like that. I analyzed the video frame by frame, looking for inconsistencies. I Googled about fake videos, found information about deepfakes, but at that time in 2019, it wasn't something regular people knew much about. It was more like a theoretical thing that maybe happened to celebrities, but not to normal people like me. Monday, I went to work, and everything went to shit even faster than I imagined. Turns out Natalie had shared the video with some mutual friends during the weekend, and those friends shared it with more people. And by the time I got to the office, basically the whole company had seen it. My boss called me to his office before 10 in the morning and told me they were receiving complaints from employees who didn't want to work with me, that my behavior had reflected badly on the company, and that it would be best if I resigned voluntarily or they were going to fire me with cause, and firing with cause means no severance. And basically it goes on your record that you were a problematic employee. I tried to explain to him about the deepfake, but he looked at me like I was crazy, told me the video was obviously real and that I needed to take responsibility for my actions instead of making up ridiculous excuses. I resigned because I had no choice, cleaned out my desk while everyone looked at me with contempt or pity, and left there feeling like I was in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I went back to the apartment on Sunday to get my stuff and Natalie wasn't there, but her brother was, watching to make sure I didn't take anything that wasn't mine. I packed my whole life into boxes that I had to put in storage because I had nowhere to take them, and I stayed at the hotel a few more days until I ran out of money and had to move in with Derek, a friend from the gym where I worked out, who was basically the only person who believed me when I told him what had happened. I called my parents to tell them and ask for help, thinking they would at least support me because I'm their son. But my mom hung up on me after telling me she was disappointed in me and couldn't believe I had cheated on such a nice girl as Natalie. My dad called me later and it was worse. He told me to stop making up stories about fake videos and technology that didn't exist, to own up to what I had done like a man, and not to contact them again until I was ready to properly apologize to Natalie and the family for embarrassing them. And Vincent called me, supposedly to give me support, told me he was sorry about what was happening and if I needed anything to call him. And I, like an idiot, thanked him because I thought at least my brother was on my side. What I didn't know was that Vincent was already consoling Natalie, spending time with her, telling her that he had always thought his brother wasn't good enough for her, that she deserved someone better. Someone who would value her and not cheat on her with the first girl that came along. He basically started dating her like 2 weeks after she kicked me out, and by December, they were official boyfriend and girlfriend. My parents were thrilled, of course, because now Vincent wasn't just the successful son, but also the hero who had saved poor Natalie from the unfaithful lying brother. I meanwhile was living on Derek's couch, looking for work without success because the video had circulated so much that any potential employer who Googled my name found it. And losing contact with all my friends because no one believed me about the deepfake. I fell into a deep depression, gained like 15 kilos because I basically only ate junk food and didn't leave Derek's apartment except to go to the gym, which was the only place where I felt a little normal. Derek told me I needed to leave the city, start over somewhere. No one knew me. And he was right, but I didn't have money or energy to move anywhere. Finally, in March 2020, right before the pandemic started, Derek convinced me to move with him to Portland because he had gotten a job at a gym there and needed a roommate to share rent. I had nothing to lose, so I packed the few things I had left, and we went to Oregon to start from zero. I got a job at the same gym as a personal trainer. And it was weird because no one there knew anything about my past. No one judged me. And I could just be Alex, the guy who helps people get in shape. Not Alex, the supposed cheater who had betrayed his girlfriend. The pandemic actually helped me in a way because it turned everything upside down so much that people stopped thinking about old internet drama and I could focus on rebuilding my life little by little. I worked at that gym for 2 years. Saved everything I could. And in 2022, Derek and I pooled our savings and opened our own gym in a neighborhood that was growing in Portland. It was hard at first. I mean, we were working like 18 hours a day between training clients, managing the business, doing marketing, cleaning the place ourselves because we couldn't afford employees yet, but it was worth it because the business started to grow and I finally felt like I had a purpose again. Like my life wasn't just that horrible thing that had happened to me. In 2023, I met Grace at the gym. She was a kindergarten teacher, had started coming to the gym to get in shape after spending the pandemic locked up eating cookies, and we connected immediately. And she was completely different from Natalie. Calmer, more genuine. And when I told her my whole story, including about the deepfake, she believed me without questioning it. She told me it sounded like something cruel people would definitely do, and that she was sorry I had gone. Through that, we started dating, fell in love, and in 2024 we got married in a small ceremony with just close friends because my family obviously wasn't invited. By that point, I had made peace with the fact that they were never going to know the truth, that they were always going to think I was the villain of the story, and I was okay with that because I had a new family that truly loved and supported me. Grace. And I had twins in August 2024, Ben and Sarah. And literally when I held them for the first time at the hospital, I thought, this is what matters. These babies and this incredible woman are my life now, and everything else is just background noise. I was happier than I had ever been. The gym was doing so well. We were thinking about opening a second location. I had a beautiful wife and 2 perfect babies. And I felt like I had finally left behind all the shit Vincent had done to me. And then, like 3 months ago, in July 2025, my life took another completely unexpected turn. An old friend, Scott, someone I hadn't talked to in like 5 years since all the drama happened, sent me a text message that said, "You need to see this video," and attached a link. At first I didn't want to open it because I thought it was going to be some other thing about the deepfake or some old gossip, but Scott insisted, told me, "Seriously, you need to see this now." So I opened it, and it was a video of Vincent, obviously drunk at what looked like a party or a bar, talking to a group of guys I didn't know, and he was telling with pride, how he had paid $15,000 to have a fake video made of his brother because he wanted to steal his girlfriend. In the video, Vincent said, he literally said, "It was the best investment I made in my life. I spent $15K, but I got Natalie, and my idiot little brother never knew I planned the whole thing." I thought the video was so perfect that no one would ever question it. And I was right. Everyone believed the video, and no one believed him when he tried to say it was fake. And he laughed. He laughed while telling how he had destroyed my life, and the guys he was with also laughed like it was the funniest story they had heard. Scott told me he had been at that party by chance, that he had recognized Vincent and had recorded the conversation because what he was saying seemed weird. And when he realized Vincent was talking about me, he decided to send it to me. I don't know how to describe what I felt when I saw that video. It was like rage and relief and sadness all at the same time. Rage because Vincent had done it on purpose, because he had planned to destroy me just to steal my girlfriend. Relief because I finally had proof that I had been telling the truth all this time. And sadness because I realized I had lost 5 years of my life. My relationship with my parents, my friends, my original career, everything because of a video my own brother had fabricated because he was a jealous sociopath who couldn't stand seeing me happy. Scott uploaded the video to social media without asking me first, and the thing went viral in a matter of hours. People started looking for the original deepfake video, comparing the stories, and everyone realized I had been telling the truth from the beginning. Messages started coming to me from people apologizing, saying they were sorry for not believing me, that they felt horrible for treating me the way they treated me. My mom called me crying, saying she was so sorry, that she had been a terrible mother. How could I forgive her? My dad sent me a long email, explaining he felt ashamed of not believing his own son. Old friends started contacting me saying they wanted to reconnect, that they had always thought something didn't add up, but the video looked so real they didn't know what to think. And Vincent lost his job in like 2 days because his company saw the video and decided they didn't want someone capable of something like that, representing their brand. His life basically imploded in the same way mine had imploded 5 years earlier, except he actually was guilty of what people were accusing him of. He tried calling me to apologize, but I didn't even answer. Blocked his number because I had absolutely nothing to say to him. There was no apology in the world that could fix what he had done to me. The weirdest thing was when Natalie contacted me like a week after everything exploded. She sent me a message on Instagram asking to talk to me, and I initially wasn't going to respond, but Grace told me maybe I needed to hear what she had to say to completely close that chapter. So I agreed to a phone call, nothing in person because I didn't want to see her, and Natalie told me that she and Vincent had gotten married in 2021, that they had had a son who was now like 3 years old, but that Vincent had left her 6 months before because supposedly he had gotten a job in another city and wanted to start over. I mean, he had basically done to her the same thing he had helped do to me. He had used her until he got bored and then left her. Natalie was crying, saying she was so sorry, that she should never have accused me without more solid evidence, that she had ruined an innocent man's life by believing a video without questioning it, and that now she was alone with a small child and no idea how she was going to get by. Part of me felt sorry for her. Because, she had also been Vincent's victim in a way. He had manipulated her just like everyone else. But another part of me, the part that was still angry and hurt, thought, you chose not to believe me. You chose to kick me out without giving me the benefit of the doubt. You chose to share that video with all our friends and destroy my reputation, so now you have to live with the consequences of those decisions. I wasn't cruel to her. I told her I was sorry she was in that situation, but that I had moved on with my life, that I had a wife and 2 kids, and that I didn't have space in my life to revisit that chapter. I also told her I would set up a trust fund with money I would contribute for her son, my nephew, technically, because the kid wasn't to blame for having a shitty father, but that I didn't want any contact with her or Vincent ever again. My parents have tried to reconnect with me since the truth came out, but honestly, I don't have much interest in having a relationship with them. They sent gifts for the twins, invited me to dinner for the holidays. My mom calls me every 2 weeks to see how I am, but I only answer occasionally and keep the conversations short and superficial. I don't hate them or anything, but I also can't forget that when I needed them most, they chose to believe Vincent instead of giving me the benefit of the doubt. They chose their favorite son over the truth, and that's something I can't just get over with some apologies. Grace tells me it's okay to take my time, that I don't have to forgive anyone if I'm not ready, and that she and the twins are my real family now anyway. The gym is doing incredibly well. We just signed the contract to open our second location in a different Portland neighborhood, and we're hiring more trainers to handle the demand. Derek and I are like real brothers now. He was there when no one else was, and that's the kind of loyalty you don't forget. Grace is pregnant again. We just found out like 2 weeks ago, and we're excited to expand our family even more. The twins are already over a year old, They're starting to walk and say their first words. And every day with them reminds me that I made the right decisions, that leaving that city and starting over was the best thing I could have done. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if the video of Vincent confessing had never come to light. If I had to live the rest of my life being seen as the guy who cheated on his girlfriend and then made up a crazy story about fake videos to cover himself. And I realize I would have been fine anyway, because I built an incredible life in Portland without needing validation from people who knew me before. The truth coming out was satisfying. I'm not going to lie. It was vindicating to know that everyone now knew I had been telling the truth from the beginning. But it didn't change anything fundamental in my life, because I had already moved on. I had already found my happiness far from all that toxicity. Vincent tried to kill himself last month, according to what my mom told me. He took a bunch of pills, but they found him in time, and he's in intensive care now, both medical and psychological. My mom wanted me to go visit him at the hospital, told me that no matter what he had done, he was still my brother, but I told her no, that I had my own family to take care of, and Vincent had to face the consequences of his actions alone. It sounds cruel, maybe, but after what he did to me, I don't owe him anything, not even my pity. There are people who say I should be the bigger person and forgive him, that family is family, but those people didn't live what I lived, didn't lose what I lost, so their opinion doesn't mean much to me. The other day, Ben, one of the twins, was playing with his blocks in the living room while I worked on my laptop, reviewing the gym numbers, and Grace was in the kitchen making dinner. And I had one of those moments where you realize how lucky you are. I lost a lot because of Vincent. I lost years of my life and relationships. I'm never going to recover. But I gained something too. I gained perspective on who I really am and what kind of people I want in my life. I gained a family I choose every day, not a family I got by accident of birth. And I gained the certainty that I can survive anything, that I can rebuild myself from scratch even when everything seems lost. So, I guess that's my story. The story of how my brother destroyed me with a $15,000 fake video, how I lost everything, and how I built a better life from the ashes of the old one. It's not the typical happy ending where everyone reconciles and the family gets together for the holidays, but it's my happy ending, the one I built with the people who truly love and support me. And honestly, I wouldn't change it for anything.